names, whoever we're talking to. Hi guys, and welcome to Now News, and today we're going back to 2018 for Now Investigations Part 10. I was drawn to this because we want to do a follow-up of our reptilian stuff, and I was drawn to some of these responses from the Now Investigations 10, which some I had transcribed before, some I haven't. This particular session is using the Q3 Mark II, and I'm going to play the first part of the session now. We're going to discuss a bit of it, then we'll play the next part and discuss a bit of that and see where it goes from there. So here's the first part of that session. According to the names, whoever we're talking to. Boost scan sensitivity.
The final victory comes. Now, what's that reference to? Will become the. I know it says question mark here, but let's have a look. All right, we will find the answer.
That's like saying to we're going to have a look at this subject. Okay, let's find the answer.
Yeah.
So like the final victory, like is it a lot of these? Yeah, is it a final victory for a person? So are they talking about the final victory of something, i.e. the final victory of this crisis that we're in now, right? Or are they talking more abstract of a final victory within someone when you actually get to a point of letting go? Does that make sense? So it can mean both, in a sense.
Yeah.
Let's find the answer, but faith has a part in it. In order to be victorious in something, you have to have faith in it. Does that?
I mean, yeah. It's I mean, we are at the moment, to all intents purposes, at war, and we're at war with our moral standing.
Yeah, it's a spiritual war.
Yeah, with our moral, what are we willing to do to prosper? And if you look at the government just right now, they've just given themselves a £13,500 pay raise.
No, it's 3.5, bud.
Yeah, but the 10,000 they give themselves at the beginning of the furlough.
Ah, I see. Yes.
If you add that into it, they give themselves £10,000 at the beginning of this. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That is what can be done about it. What can be done with the Joe public about it? So we are, in a sense, in a war at the minute with our moral selves.
Well, it's the war within and the war without, because it's not just a war between people versus government. It's a war between people versus people. It's a war within ourselves. It's a war within, like, you know, how many times have we mulled it over? You know, is this is not making sense? Is it real? Isn't it real? Is it this? Is it that? And you know, you get people there who just say, well, just accept the official explanation. Which is, well, I can't because of the experiences that are happening to me, the things that I'm being told. And I say this a lot to people. It's like, and you said this on a prior video, it's okay to question things. You know, it's healthy to question things. And we are getting, you know, there was we were filming this on Sunday, and there was Andrew Marr and someone on the BBC the Sunday morning. They were talking about, you know, obeying the rules, and, you know, are we going to be able to have a Christmas? And they're just agreeing with it. There's no challenging coming from these people, as in journalists or whatever. They're just repeating it and go, well, you know, that's the thing. You know, we just got to obey the rules. See, not actually taking on the points of view of, you know, the people who are losing their livelihoods, losing their jobs, losing their things about this. So it is affecting, you know, everyone. There's a lady on Facebook called Brees Media, and she ran a campaign a while ago to say that she would put up on her Facebook videos of people just expressing their thoughts, whether they liked the lockdown or whether they agreed with the lockdown or didn't agree with the lockdown, and their reasons why. No, and the idea was for people to air their grievances without judgment, because there was arguments on both sides, and from whatever point of view people are looking at, they can be seen as valid arguments from both sides. But also from the opposing side, they could be seen as, and the attitude that's coming up in that is, and I've noticed this quite a bit, and this really infuriated me yesterday, was where you put in an opposing article, an opposing viewpoint. Some people will talk to you as if you're stupid, as if you were born yesterday. And it's like, I said this to I was talking to my nephew, and he said, can you imagine if the world was like that, you know, where you ask for evidence because you don't quite understand, or you don't get what this is saying, or, you know, you're seeing something. So it's like, if someone says to you, you know, someone comes to install your TV, and you say to them, well, so, okay, you've fitted my Skybox. How does the Sky... I don't have Sky. I don't have live TV. But I say someone comes and fits your TV or your Skybox or something, and they say, you know, well, how does that work then? I've never used Sky before. Well, I'm sure I'd better show you in. You can imagine if that was like the attitude.
Yeah.
And that's the attitude we're seeing. It's like you go to a mobile phone shop and buy a phone. It's like an old person with a smartphone. It's like, well, how do you use this? How do you install the apps? And how do you... Oh, well, if you don't know how to use Facebook, I'll have to show you how to use it. Well, you see it. All you do is a little thing there. You type in a little message you want to tell all your little friends. And that's the attitude that people have when you're questioning it. You know, it's like, oh, look at all these epidemiologists here, or all these people who want to be Prime Minister. And you're thinking, have you seen yourselves?
Brian Rose is running for mayor, isn't he?
Yeah,
London mayor.
Brian Rose is running for mayor. He seems to be distancing himself from David Icke now. So, yeah.
Well, he's going to run for London mayor. I mean, people, it's hard enough. Life is hard enough, right? When you're just trying to make ends meet. Without all this nonsense being thrown at you, right? With Brexit and God knows what, and, you know, all these, it's just nonsense. It's just a garnish, nonsense. It has no basis in the real world, right? Except for the fact that they give themselves all and they give us a little bit. And, you know, until you start going, nah, that's not right. Like, no, we're the one.
This is the thing, right?
We're going. They don't.
This is the thing, right? Sorry, I'm just reading back on here now. It says count the fears for 1 year, right? This has been messaged. This has been messaged before. This has come through again. It says back in March, it said about things being 1 year, as if there's like, which would take us basically up to February, March 2021, if it's the year that they're talking about. And you know what it can be like with time, right? But it's 1 year filled with the horrors of their crime. Let it go. And breaking the repulsive horror that works so well there. And the point I wanted to make, and I wanted to reference those responses there, is we're being put into such a state of fear. It's only can last for so long before that fear becomes something else. And it doesn't necessarily have to become anger. It can become like... It can shake things loose. You will do things after you come to that end of your tether. It's like that old saying, there's nothing can be feared more than someone who has nothing left to lose. And we're kind of being pushed into that kind of frame of mind when we got nothing left to lose.
Talking about our live. Yeah. No, you can say what Richard said.
Can't cover it all in 3 or 4 minutes. That's why I'm yelling, I'm cussing.
Take what you need. When our voices come through on YouTube and number 1.
Yeah.
We've heard that voice before.
Just boiling inside of me.
Well, that's prophecy.
Now that's some spiritual stuff right there. I mean, that is, which we have said on the show, that comes from somewhere else. That comes from a place of spirit. And that's been said through this device, which we are trying to communicate to spirit and beings, the same thing, whatever they are. Beings that hold love and compassion.
Yeah.
That's what it's saying. Saying this, all we are. You know, if you look at everything.
All it takes, sorry, this is just coming to my head. All it takes, right, is for that spark of someone to ask a question of one of these people who are giving us all this stuff, right? Where's your love? Where's your compassion? All it takes is asking that one question: where is love? Where's the compassion? Right? And you are even seeing some politicians starting to come out and say certain things. Like the way this is, you're even starting to get some politicians come out and say it. You get some journalists, you get some in society. But I think it's when that's the question no one ever asks, is where is the love, where is the compassion in what's being said, what's being done. Not in the words, but in the actions of these people. Because love means nothing when it's expressed in words. Love means everything when it's expressed in action.
If love was ruling the world right now, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And that, I promise you, is a fact.
Yeah.
So, there it is. I mean, that's it. You know, we are. I don't care what you'd say. If you look at the world the way it is, we are the fallen. You know, we are. We've been through 2 world wars. We've been through a heap of unbelievable human trafficking that is this. I mean, this is like of which the world has never seen. You know, we we have
Well, the last
charities.
century, but we had to invent a word for killing on such a mass scale that it almost wiped out nations. You know, the word genocide is only 100 or so years old.
So there it is, like everything, pornography, everything, like is, and it's not like, I mean, you see people like Russell Brand talking about spirituality, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with looking at beauty or appreciating it, right? It's the system behind it that's the worry. It's what it leads to in the mind.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's not the thing itself. It's only the problem of the mind it goes into. And it is, you know, people are manipulated and used. And if this system, it's finite. It cannot continue.
No.
It cannot continue. If one suffers, it's like Jordan Peterson gave this impossible question, right? He wrote it in a book, and he said, if you had the person you love the most, say a child, and it was the child's life or the humanity's life, right? Which would you choose, right? But you choose, if you had a gun, right, and say there was one bullet and you had to choose, you had to choose. You couldn't choose either. It's an impossible question because it never equates for free will. Never adds up for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you take yourself out in that equation, or you'd expect every single person which makes up humanity is betted against one person. But they're all equal. It's like one against one against all.
Yeah.
Same question.
It's a question that whenever people ask that question, it's a loaded question. It's like you would not know what you would do in that situation, and quite frankly, whenever I've been asked that question before, I've always said, no, I'll take the third road. I would not get in that situation in the first place.
Yeah. Well, that's not in the question. See, the third road, there is no third road according to the question that George Peterson poses. But you can't take the third road. You can't take the third road out of the question on a human scale.
But I could take myself out of the question. Yeah.
Right. That's what you do. Or humanity should be in a place where they should say, well, we're all in it together, so we'll all go.
Yeah.
You wouldn't leave a one person behind anyway. That one person wouldn't stay behind to watch humanity die. See, the right thing to do, this is the point that humanity should strive for. And that's what's in that message. Because that's the place it comes from. We're all in this, you know, you see it, we're all in this together. Or Major Tom said it, didn't he? You know, Colonel Tom, he said, we're all in this together. And the NHS slogan, we're all in this together. We're not right now because there's so much divide.
Yeah.
But we should be in this together. And if we were, we wouldn't be having the problems we're having. And we would be allowed to say, I don't think this is right. And we'd be allowed to sit next to our loved ones if they're dying. We'd be allowed to visit our loved ones. Because the truth would be out that maybe this isn't the pandemic they thought it was. You know, this isn't, as something else is going on. That's how I feel. I'm not saying there's not a nasty virus out there. I'm just saying there's something else going on. Because science that's leading to big decisions being made just doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section below. And there is more to that session, but we will release that in a future video. So take care of yourselves, guys.
Have a night, peeps.
Bye for now. Hi guys, it's Jared from Paranormal Now. I hope you like the channel and hope you like the content. If you do, check out some of the other videos on the screen now and click the button below to subscribe to the channel. Hope to see you soon. Take care of yourselves.